Corey, you can whatever team you want to start with the NFC North.
All right. Let's go ahead. Start at the top. Green Bay Packers.
All right.
As I kind of touched on with Brian Flores, Matt LaFleur, I still don't have a great read on him as a head coach. I absolutely think he's an upgrade over Mike McCarthy. But just with Green Bay's success, how much of it is the floor and how much of it is him having one of the two best quarterbacks in the game? It's, the field goal call in that playoff game was questionable at best. So I guess if, you're questioning small, time management decisions, stuff like that, that's a sign that he's at least got to be a decent coach. But yeah, I don't have a good read. But we'll probably find out next year. As for the offense, there's not a whole lot you really need to say about this Packers offense. Rodgers is there. He's here for at least one more year, probably just one more year. The line should be solid. They got Aaron Jones back. I think that was a pretty big deal. Hopefully, with Jamal Williams leaving, that means Aaron Jones gets more touches, because the Packers offense is better when they give Aaron Jones the football. So freaking feed Aaron Jones. I don't understand why LaFleur is so much wanting to share the workload with other backs, because he's that good, and the offense benefits when you give it to him. I will say, I don't know who their number 2 wide receiver is. Is it Lazard, Funchess, Cobb? They drafted Amari Rodgers, who's basically a younger Randall Cobb. You've got MVS still. Equanimeous St. Brown hasn't really done anything. So, who's that guy? Also, it doesn't matter as much, because you still have Rodgers under center. I think the tight end room is solid with Lewis, and the 2 guys from Indiana State, whose names I am totally blanking on at the moment. But the offense, I don't think will be a concern for the Packers as long as Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. I think there's questions on if the defense can improve from a year ago. Preston Smith had a down year for them last year. So can he bounce back? Can they get a little bit more consistent pressure on the quarterback? I think Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage is a pretty good duo at safety. Alexander is a really good cornerback. So you got another question: who's going to step up on the other side of him? Does King rebounds and kind of take that next step? Does their first round pick Jimmy Stokes do that? I saw Matt Miller's evaluation of that pick was that he didn't think Stokes would be ready to really contribute a lot as a rookie. So, taking him when you don't have much time left with Aaron Rodgers was an interesting pick. But I think the defense should be good. Having an offense that's as dynamic as what they have helps as well. Takes a little bit of pressure off the defense, but we'll see if they can, just be a little bit better than last year. So overall, I think barring major injury to either Rodgers or maybe Devontae Adams, I think the Packers could possibly still survive that. I think the Packers will still be at the top of the NFC on the whole, not just the division. Honestly, I'm not sure how good this division is going to be. We'll get into that a little bit later. So I think, honestly, their biggest challenge this year could be internal. The Rodgers drama from the offseason is likely to carry over into the season. I think the way that contract is structured, I think it's more likely than not that Rodgers is going to be making his way out of Green Bay this year, after this year. How much do those questions keep lingering throughout the season? I would imagine that they will. So how much is that going to just wear on the team, having to deal with that week after week? So can they block out the noise to try to make one more Super Bowl run? I think they can and will. We'll see what happens in the playoffs, but I got them at 15-2 and atop the NFC.
Hey, all right, Corey. I'm not mad at that. Once again, Matt LaFleur, great coach. You know, came from that coaching tree with Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur. They were all in the Washington football team. You just let them escape. I don't know. Anyway, that's either here or there. I mean, he's pretty good, but you're right. We got to see. Aaron, obviously, a lot of his successes with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we're gonna see how good he is when Jordan Love takes over. Aaron Rodgers is back. Best one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Everything's good. He wants to be there. They want him there. He gets paid. Everybody wins. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron Jones, he's a touchdown machine. And you're right, Corey. I think the Packers need to give him the ball more. And then they got AJ Dillon. And I think it's going to take the next step. Give him some, sometimes Aaron Jones gets banged up and nicked up a little bit. I think AJ Dillon could take that. Give it some reps. Offensive line was great last year. They got David Bakhtiari. He's one of the best in the NFL. Tight end position is led by Robert Tonyan. Him and Aaron Rodgers had a connection last year, so we can look to build on that. The receiving core, Devontae Adams, made his state to claim last year as the best receiver in the NFL. He has a 99 rating in Madden. He's just phenomenal. After that, I think it's just going to be MVS is probably going to have a good game. Randall Cobb may have a good game. Amari Rodgers might have a good game, but that second receiver it's going to be like last year. So, whoever is going to have I don't think it's going to be a consistent secondary receiver. Now the defense is good. I think they got Kenny Clark on the defensive line. The linebacker core, once again with Corey, Ken Preston Smith, this is the reason. Same thing in Washington. You get 8 sacks 1 year, 4 the next, 8, 4. Last year 2019 he had 12. Last year 4. Let's just see if he can be consistent because the other guys, Zadarius Smith is consistent. We know that much. He's going to get you sacks. So we'll see. The defensive back, they have Jair Alexander. I think he's top 5 corner in the league. He proved it last year. I think he made first team All-Pro, which is very hard to do. He's just been good. He's a ball player. He's a baller. You have Kevin King, who they brought back. And then they have Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage. So they're back into their defense is really good. The Packers, they're done with the offseason. Overall prediction, the Packers are done with the offseason drama with Rodgers. Everybody's happy. That is going to be questions next year. He might play one more year, might not. It depends. I see him forcing his way out, which might be good for both, right? If Rodgers has an MVP year like he did last year, everybody wins. Jordan Love, they can see what they have in Jordan Love. He sat for 2 years, and they get a buttload of picks for Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody wins. He goes to Denver. Everybody goes to Denver. And Denver gets a lot of picks, and everybody wins. And if they want a receiver, you can throw a receiver in. So don't be surprised if this team is in a Super Bowl next year. Like they're good. They went to the NFC Championship game twice. So my overall record, I got them 13-4. They're going to be one of the best teams in the NFC. Probably get home field again. I'm thinking, or maybe 13-4, yeah, or 14-3. But they're gonna be one of the best teams. All right, Craig.
All right, Matt LaFleur. I think he's a solid coach, but I really don't know like what he can actually, because he has arguably the best quarterback or one of the best quarterbacks to ever play. So you really don't know. As long as you just doesn't, as long as he doesn't pull what he did last year in the playoffs, we just take the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hand, at least give him a chance, because you never know what can happen. Who knows what could have happened in that game, but I think that was a mistake. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen again this year if it comes down to making a fourth down and you have Aaron Rodgers at like 10 or something like that. I think he's going to just let Aaron Rodgers do what Aaron Rodgers do. So he's not going to do that. I mean, he's had 2 back-to-back 13-3 seasons, which looks really good on paper, but I mean, he just hasn't got this team, and it's not just all on him. He hasn't got his team to the Super Bowl, but it's not all on him. But you know, he's looked at as, you know, this guy who came in and replaced Mike McCarthy. How good are you compared to Mike McCarthy and things like that? So obviously the team goes how far Aaron Rodgers is going to take them. So like I said, that regular or that offseason drama that started pretty much on draft day is pretty much done with. Seems like anyway, at least for this year. Obviously Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's like, like Tom Brady. Like, you really don't have to go through his resume to see exactly what he's done or what he's capable of, even at this age that he's at. So MVP season last year with pretty much nobody to throw the ball to except for Devontae. He kind of got, I don't say lucky, but he found Robert Tonyan, who had a really good season as a tight end. And he kind of, to me, he came out of nowhere, and he's climbing up boards, especially on fantasy. So, you know, I think as long as Aaron Rodgers is there versus going with Jordan Love, if he wasn't there, then I had him finishing third in the division. But since Aaron Rodgers is back, obviously, I mean, you can't bet against Aaron Rodgers. So I definitely have them finishing first. Their wide receivers, obviously, it starts with Devontae Adams. He's arguably the best wide receiver in the league. You say because he has one of the best quarterbacks throwing the ball to him. You know, so I mean, I can, you know, you can argue that, and that's cool. But I think he's kind of shown with his route running and the way he gets off the line and his just catching ability. Like, he's arguably the best wide receiver in the league, and that changes all the time. But at least for coming into this season, that's who I'm picking. His number 2, I think his number 2 is honestly is going to be Randall Cobb, the guy he wanted to come back. Cobb's probably going to be playing out of the slot a lot, but you know, I think I'm looking for big things out of Randall Cobb coming into this season. Alan Lazard and Valdez-Scantling, and even Funches, you know, they're solid number 3s, I guess. But I think the rapport that he has with Cobb, the relationship that he has with Cobb, and he wanted Cobb to come back to this team, you know, shows a lot, and it says a lot. So I think I'm looking for Cobb to have probably one of his, even though he's older, to have one of his better years this upcoming season. Aaron Jones, now that Jamal Williams is not there, should get obviously a lot more of the running back load. 2 years ago, he had 16 touchdowns and over 1,000 yards. Last year, he had not as good of a production. He had 9 touchdowns, still solid. He had another 1,000-yard season. He can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. So he's very, very versatile. AJ Dillon, I think he's going to probably get a couple of spell back carries when Aaron Jones is tired or something like that. But overall, I think it's up to Aaron Jones to carry the load, and hopefully they don't utilize AJ Dillon too much, like they did with Jamal Williams. So I definitely think the offense is they're going to be another top 5 offense again, as long as Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. And I think he's mentally there. I think he's committed to this team this year. So obviously, I think they're going to have a really good season, especially on the offensive side. Darius Smith, Kenny Clark on the defensive end, on the defensive side, along with their secondary. Secondary is one of the better secondaries in the league. Amos, Alexander, they drafted Stokes. I'm still kind of baffled that they didn't once again draft Aaron Rodgers, a wide receiver, in the first round. It's kind of just, I mean, it's like a running joke at this point. But hopefully, with him bringing in Cobb, with Tonyan coming back again, and getting that rapport with Aaron Rodgers, and then you have Devontae and then the other wide receivers, you know, they can produce. And maybe Stokes will actually step up and be a starting cornerback to go along with the roster that they have. Maybe this pick won't be such a bad pick because I mean there were still wide receivers on the board that I thought they could have taken. But you know, even if Aaron Rodgers didn't come back, you're not giving your Jordan Love, you're not giving him wide receiver help. Like you're just keeping him with obviously Devontae, and then you're keeping him with Valdez Scantling, and you're keeping him with Lazard. That's not enough, in my opinion, even with whether it's Aaron Rodgers or whether it's Jordan Love. So, you know, I'm hoping that, like I said, these guys can put everything behind them, focus on this upcoming season, worry about next season after this year. They definitely have the talent, especially on the offensive end and and in the secondary to get this team to a Super Bowl. I actually picked them to go to the Super Bowl this year over Tampa and the rest of the NFC teams. So he's only lost 3 games in each of his first 2 seasons per season. So I'm going to probably another 14-3 this year because of the extra game. So 14-3 for the Packers. I think they run away with the division. I just don't see no reason why they shouldn't win this division unless Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, which hopefully he doesn't. But Super Bowl or bust for this team.
Man.